Noah Wyle, the actor best known for his long-running role as Dr. John Carter on the legendary medical drama ER, has found himself in the middle of a deeply personal and public legal battle that has left fans stunned and the entertainment world buzzing. The controversy erupted after Sherri Crichton, the widow of ER creator Michael Crichton, filed a lawsuit against Wyle and the production team of his new HBO Max series, The Pitt, accusing them of essentially creating an unauthorized reboot of ER and profiting from Crichton's intellectual property without the estate's consent. The reaction from Wyle has been swift, emotional, and sharply worded, calling the entire situation profoundly sad and disappointing, a phrase now echoing across entertainment headlines. Wyle, who has long been viewed as one of the most loyal torchbearers of ER's legacy, has expressed shock that the lawsuit is coming from Crichton's widow, someone he once believed shared a mutual respect for the show's enduring impact and for the creative community behind it. The actor, visibly emotional during a recent panel for The Pitt, told reporters, "This is not how I imagined the 30th anniversary of ER would feel like. I thought we'd be celebrating what we built, not fighting over it." The legal filing from Sherri Crichton, however, paints a very different picture. The lawsuit, initiated in August 2024, claims that The Pitt is not merely a tribute or a separate work, but a direct, unauthorized derivative of ER, and that its creators, including Wyle, former ER executive producer John Wells, and longtime showrunner R. Scott Gemmill, are knowingly and deliberately using Michael Crichton's intellectual property without approval. Crichton's estate argues that key elements of The Pitt, including its hospital setting, the narrative structure focusing on high-intensity medical emergencies, and even its character dynamics, all mirror ER to an extent that constitutes infringement. Wyle, for his part, remains adamant that The Pitt is an entirely original concept. The show, which debuted on Max in January 2025, is set in a struggling urban hospital in Pittsburgh and follows a tense 24-hour period in the lives of its staff, an approach the creators insist is structurally and thematically distinct from ER. "It's a different city, different format, different tone," Wyle stated in a televised interview. "We intentionally made The Pitt a one-day-per-season format to emphasize the intensity of real-time pressure. That's never been done before on a hospital show." Still, the parallels between ER and The Pitt are difficult to ignore, especially given the involvement of so many former ER collaborators. Critics have noted that even some of the character archetypes in The Pitt, the cocky young resident, the overworked chief of surgery, the burned-out ER nurse, seem to echo the iconic cast of ER. But according to Wyle, that's a reflection of real-life hospital dynamics, not a case of copy-pasting old role. Hospitals run on archetype. That doesn't make it ER. That makes it medical storytelling, he emphasized. The lawsuit has triggered an avalanche of responses from fans, many of whom feel torn between their affection for Wyle and their respect for Michael Crichton's legacy. On social media, hashtags like #TeamWyle and #Justice for Crichton have begun trending, with users passionately debating who's in the right. One fan tweeted, "Noah Wyle was the face of ER. If anyone should be allowed to build on that legacy, it's him." Another responded, "Michael Crichton created that world. You can't just hijack it and call it something new." Others are pointing out the complicated timing of the dispute. The legal battle comes just as ER prepares to celebrate its 30th anniversary later this year. What was expected to be a nostalgic and unifying moment for fans and cast members alike has now been overshadowed by litigation and controversy. "It's heartbreaking," Wyle admitted during a recent podcast appearance. "This show saved my life. It gave me my career. And now it's become the center of a fight that I never wanted." This isn't the first time Sherri Crichton has made legal moves to protect her late husband's intellectual property. Over the past decade, she's been involved in several high-profile efforts to ensure that Michael Crichton's creations are used with respect and proper authorization. From Jurassic Park to Westworld, the Crichton estate has maintained tight control over how the late author's work is interpreted or extended. But this case with Wyle hits a more personal note. Because ER, unlike many of Crichton's other works, was built collaboratively with a team that included Wyle, Wells, and Gemmill from the beginning. Warner Bros. Television, which is also named in the lawsuit, has issued a strong defense, calling the claims factually and legally baseless. In their official statement, the studio emphasized that The Pitt is a wholly original creation that does not share storylines, character identities, or proprietary content from ER. They also pointed out that ER itself was not the exclusive creation of Michael Crichton alone, but rather the result of a dynamic collaboration between writers, producers, and directors over its 15-year run. The idea that no one else has the right to tell a medical story ever again is both creatively and legally absurd, the statement read. Still, Sherri Crichton insists that Wyle crossed a line. The The lawsuit alleges that internal emails and production notes reveal a clear intent to revive the tone and impact of ER for a new generation, and that Wyle's own public comments have repeatedly referenced the show as a spiritual successor or update to ER. Her legal team argues that these statements constitute an admission of derivation, and therefore grounds for legal action. Behind the scenes, sources close to the production of The Pitt say that Wyle is devastated by the turn of events. He really thought he was doing something honorable. One insider told Vulture, he thought this would be a love letter to ER, not a betrayal. This was never about money for Noah. It was about legacy and passion. Another crew member added, he's heartbroken. You can see it in his face every time someone brings it up. The emotional toll on Wyle has become increasingly visible. In recent press appearances, his normally calm demeanor has been replaced by a more somber tone. When asked by a journalist if he would consider shelving The Pitt to avoid further conflict, Wyle paused, then replied, I would never want to hurt the memory of ER, but I also won't apologize for wanting to create something meaningful. As The Pitt moves forward with its second season, which is scheduled for release in early 2026, the lawsuit remains unresolved. Legal experts say the case could take months, or even years, to fully litigate, especially given the high-profile nature of the parties involved. Meanwhile, The Pitt continues to attract solid viewership numbers and critical acclaim, with some calling it the most authentic medical drama in years. Despite the storm, Wyle has not backed down from promoting the series. He's continued to give interviews, attend red carpet events, and meet with fans who still see him as the heart and soul of medical television. One thing is clear, Noah Wyle is not just fighting a lawsuit. He's fighting for his identity as an artist, and for the right to grow beyond the show that made him famous. Still, many in the industry are watching closely to see how this situation will affect Wyle's standing in Hollywood. Will other creators hesitate to work with him out of fear of legal entanglements? Or will this controversy solidify his image as a committed, passionate storyteller who won't let bureaucracy stop him from doing what he loves? There's no easy answer, but what's undeniable is that the drama unfolding off-screen is every bit as intense as the ones Wyle used to portray on screen. And with both sides digging in their heels, it's unlikely that this dispute will fade quietly into the background. As Wyle himself said in a now viral interview clip, I didn't think telling a story about saving lives would lead to this kind of battle. But if standing up for storytelling makes me the villain, then I'll wear that hat. With pride. Despite everything, there's a growing undercurrent of sympathy for Noah Wyle, especially among his former ER co-stars. Though most have remained silent publicly, a few anonymous sources have hinted that some cast members feel the lawsuit is unnecessarily punitive and rooted more in protecting an image than in guarding intellectual property. One insider revealed, a lot of us think this is just a misunderstanding that got way out of hand. Noah's not the kind of guy who would ever try to exploit someone's legacy. He genuinely cares about honoring the past while building something new. Whether more voices from the original ER family will eventually speak out remains to be seen, but for now, Wyle stands largely alone, fighting a legal and emotional battle that could define not only the future of The Pitt, but the public's final memory of one of television's most iconic doctors.